Some time ago, the two of you opened a beauty salon. Is that what you do for a living?
That's what we did at the time.
Okay. When did you open the beauty salon?
May 2013 is when we signed our lease.
When did you move in?
August 1st.
And you hope to make a business of it?
Yes.
What happened?
Well,
just say it. Don't figure out where I'm going. You don't sell a successful business.
Right. It was a salon that was catered to young girls.
When did you sell the business to the defendant?
We sold the business in February of 2014. It was 6 months after our grand opening.
So you weren't seeing from your business what you had anticipated, I assume?
For 6 months, we had seen exactly what we did anticipate monetarily. Lorraine was the sole owner of the business. She had intended on going in with a business partner.
Just a minute. She was the sole owner of the business when it was sold in February of 2014?
Yes.
So why are you here?
Well, because of the... I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, why are you here? I'm asking you, why are you here?
Because I dealt with Rocky.
So you're a witness?
No, I dealt with Rocky throughout the process of trying to collect the money.
You're a witness. If Miss Yerkins, is that right?
Yes.
Was the sole proprietor, you're a witness, so you could sit down. Now I'm going to get back to it.
Okay.
You opened up this business, you invested some time and money into fixing it up.
We did.
And within 6 months, you decided to sell it. Was it
did.
your money that you invested?
Yes, it was. It was a personal loan.
And how much of a personal loan did you take out and from whom?
$30,000 at my bank that I use.
So you invested $30,000 in the business?
More than that, because I put in my own money as well.
How much did you personally put in that you can demonstrate to me through bank accounts, etc.?
I would say about maybe $5,000 of my own.
Okay. So you invested $35,000 in the business?
Yes.
And the business then was not where you wanted it to be, or else you would have stayed, I assume. What are you doing now?
Well, right now I'm in nursing school. So I went back to school to finish my degree in nursing.
Now, you went back to school for nursing. There had to be a reason for that. You want to tell me what the reason was?
Absolutely. When I went into the salon, opening the salon, I thought that I was going to have a partner. Pretty much like last minute, she had said that she was going to stay at her current job and not take on the risk of opening a business. I still thought it was a great idea. We had an awesome location next to a Starbucks, and I thought the business would do really well. So I just said, okay, that's fine. Let me go on, and I'll do it on my own. But with that, I didn't realize all of the duties that were included in operating a new business on my own. So I was responsible from opening to cleaning, to hiring, to firing, to ordering supplies. I mean, I was there from the start to the finish.
You tell a very good story, and I believe you.
Okay. So it just got too much. I had a 2-year-old daughter, and I was spending no time with her, and these parties were on the weekends, so I didn't even have weekends free.
Tell me what parties you're talking about.
Okay, so our salon was geared towards girls, young girls, like 4 to 12, the age range, and we did special birthday parties for them. So they would come in, have their hair and makeup done, makeup application, chocolate facials, just like a little party, but with the salon atmosphere there. But we did do regular hair salon services as well during the week, but the majority of the parties were on the weekends.
Okay. Then you sold Mr. Moussa the business.
I did not sell him the business. I sold his wife, Madeline Scarretta, the business.
Oh, then what is he doing here?
I have no idea, Your Honor. I just found out she wasn't going to be here today.
Got the wrong party. Where do you come from?
Islip, Long Island.
Well, that's too bad. Why isn't...
I am the one who dealt with him, and she gave me power of attorney to represent
Let me
her.
see it.
I'm sorry, my son can help me with that if you don't mind, Your Honor.
Of course, I just want to see the power of attorney that she gave you the authority to appear on her behalf today. Okay. Now, you sold Mr. Moussa's wife the business for how much?
I did. $38,000.
And how much did Mrs. Moussa or her husband pay you back of the $38,000?
Can I go to my...
No, just tell me.
He was the one dealing with the payment because I started school again and I didn't want to have any dealings with this fiancé.
Stand up. How much money did they pay back?
They paid back approximately... I do have it in my notes, Your Honor.
How much did you pay back?
I paid the whole thing.
I have it here. So we sold the business on...
I just asked you a question. I said, of the $38,000 purchase price, how much did they pay back?
They paid back $16,549 on the first contract.
I didn't ask you that question. I asked you a simple question. I'm going to ask you only once, and then I'm just going to throw you out. I said, how much did they pay you in total?
They paid us $20,549.
Period.
Yes.
Do you have proof, sir, that you paid them more than $20,540?
Yes, I don't have a proof with me. But
You don't have the proof with you? Go back to Long Island. Listen, you need your wife, you need your proof. Do you understand?
I understand.
Very good. I need checks. I need canceled checks. Do you have that with you? It doesn't look like you have
I
anything.
have some, but can I explain if you don't mind?
The answer is no.
Because he was most of the time asking for cash. I have proof that he was asking for cash only.
Did you ask for cash?
Never.
Let me see the proof that
Give
they
me
asked
the
for
phone.
cash.
Can I come take cash money?
No,
I have
can-
check as well. Here
Just
is
a
cash
second.
money.
All I want to know is,
That's
did,
$1,450.
Did you ask for cash?
I asked for however we could get the money, check
Can I
for
see?
cash.
That's $1,450, and that's in the bank, in the cell phone. Every couple of days he asks for 200, 300.
Let
Show
me see.
it to him.
Can I just see the phone?
Yes, my son will get it out.
Okay, here we go. So at some point your contract was modified because this says from you, this is from you, all that we are looking to get is the last $3,200.
Right.
Not a penny more. And this is 3 weekends in a row that you had planned on meeting with me, and I haven't so much as gotten a text. So now it's not $18,000, it's $3,200 that they owe you, that you acknowledge that they owe you.
Right. But we do have...
Just a second. What can you give me tomorrow in cash? Can you give me $200?
And, Your Honor, the reason why I was asking for cash was because he began to write us bad checks.
And we also have audio of him confirming that he did write us a bad check. So when I went to my bank to...
Okay, sir. Did you ever give him any more money? Listen to me. Did you ever give him any more money after he asked for the $200 in cash? Did you give him the $200?
Only $200, and that's it.
And that was
it.
So you gave him the $200.
$200 he came and...
Just a second. So you gave him the $200.
And that's it.
That was September. So
No,
now
it
he
was
owed
July.
me.
It was
So
July,
now,
Your Honor.
so
July,
now
yeah.
you only owe them $3,000.
I don't.
Did you pay them the $3,000?
No.
Well, you don't say here that I don't owe you $3,200.
I didn't. I just ignore him. I block him. I don't answer him anymore.
We actually have a tape of him...
Just a second. Well, you owe him $3,000.
No.
He owes
Okay,
us-
I'm sorry,
Well, you
Your
tell
Honor.
me,
Let me
just
explain.
a second. Then you tell me, so far I have, you owe him $3,000.
Okay.
You tell me
First
why
of
not.
all, I just want for find something. He said I gave him bad check. I never.
Just a second.
Okay, that's why I don't
$3,000.
owe him bad check. When I bought the business from Adam and his wife, they make the whole world, like, as you say in it's buffing. It's $1 million a week. I have 100 customers. Okay, it's fine. But we hire his wife to work for us, and I pay in her.
Right from the beginning?
From the beginning. 3-4 months she working, getting salary.
No, Mama.
One
Don't.
I'm sorry.
Because he has a counterclaim.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I pay him $1,450. He was hiding from his wife because she was very tough with him. I give you the check, his signature.
You gave me a check.
For $1,450.
I cannot see what this is.
That's his signature, man.
So what?
And later today,
Did Mr. Clark go outside? After she walked out the door,
Yes,
did he
ma'am.
follow her out the door? The answer is yes.
Okay.
No, I'm not asking you anything at all yet.
and fiancé Adam DeLeo say Rocky Musa owes for the balance of a salon business they sold him. Rocky is countersuing for money owed.
Go ahead.
Okay, we hire her to work for us, and she get 4 or 5 girls, her own people. And one day she start to answer. We ask her, do you make any money? No. So my wife called her. My wife, she never deal with this.
You can't tell me anything your wife said
Okay,
or did.
I understand. Okay, I asked Adam, your wife didn't bring any money for us. She texts my wife, very nasty text, and me, both of us, with a nasty attitude. So I tell my wife, we don't need that. Go close this business and fire her. My wife went to Starbucks, and she asked her question, and whatever happened, She went there and she closed the place. Tell her, I don't want you. We're closing up. In that time, we closed.
So you closed?
We closed. No, right now we're open, but we closed that time. Okay. We closed it because we didn't have anybody to work, and my wife is not going to work. And she had 4 girls working for her, all her group, her people. She texted me, she said, if you fire me, nobody will work. I said, okay, I'll close it. I don't need this business. So we closed the business 3-4 months. And when we come, we look at how many parties she done, and you can ask her. She never gave me 1 dime, and she make 10 parties.
I don't know any of that, sir, and you have no proof of that because there's very little. Because you have no proof because I see there's nothing on your table. So far, you owe him $3,000.
I pay him $14.50. He was hiding from his wife because she was very tough with him. Here is the $14.50. She don't know nothing about it. He was coming to me.
All I'm asking you for, sir,
I gave
is
you
the
man.
proof. No, you didn't.
I gave you the check, his signature.
You gave me a check.
For $14.50. No, I know what I'm saying.
Do you see what this is? I cannot see what this is.
That's his signature, man.
So what?
He signed, received $14.50.
So what? That's in December.
Yes, but she didn't know about it.
You owe him $3,000. Judgment of the plaintiff. We're done.
Eyes are excused. You may step out.
It was just one wrong decision from my wife.
I really thought that they were well off and that they would be truthful to their word in paying me back.
Don't listen to whoever sells you the business and think why he sells the business.
When you get that weird feeling, there probably is something up with that.
And now,
You rented the defendants an apartment that you own that was above a pizzeria. It had 4 bedrooms. When did you move in, Mrs. Smith?
We moved in on May 1st, 2015.
And when did you move out?
We were out October 1st, 2016.
And there came a time that during your tenancy, your husband lost his job and you fell behind in your rent.
Yes, ma'am.
How much rent, when you moved out, had not been paid to Mr. Watson? Do you know the exact figure?
I'm not sure of the exact figure.
Approximately.
It was going to be roughly like $4,000.
Well, even he doesn't say it was $4,000. You say it was $2,000.
5.
No, it's not what you say, actually. You said that they still owed back rent in the amount of $2,200, and they moved out. You confused a little, Mr. Watson. You're suing for $5,000, but you say that part of that was property that they took, back rent, damage to the apartment. But according to your complaint, they owed you $2,200 in back rent. That's what it says here. I'll show you what you signed.
There was $3,200 that they owed during the months that they, I can't read it, so.
Well, they acknowledge that they owe you that much. Okay, so
Well,
what is your defense for the money that you owe your landlord for back rent? He was forgiving.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So when Brandon asked us to leave on August 9th, I have text messages from him that he sent to my husband, Ben, that stated he had covered all of our back rent.
Who had covered all your back rent?
Brandon.
Who's
Because
Brandon?
he was buying the building.
That would be you.
Yes, Your Honor.
How are you related to him?
I'm not.
Did you give him money for their back rent?
I gave him
Up. Stand up. There's a smugness about you that I'm finding irritating, sir.
I believe it.
Well, then that means that you're an idiot. If you know that you're smug and if you know that there's something unlikable about your demeanor, then a normal person tries to change it and not bring it in front of 10 million people looking like a schlemiel. Now, my question to you was a very simple one. Did you give Mr. Watson money to cover their back rent?
$800, yes.
$800. Did this gentleman who purchased your building, he purchased your building?
In the process.
He's in the process of doing it now?
Correct.
He says that he gave you $800. Do you have a lawyer in that purchase?
No.
You're doing it yourself? You're doing
So far.
Don't.
Don't. Okay.
Listen to me. How old are you? You can tell me.
79.
So you're a little older than I am. But I'm a lawyer. You're not a lawyer, right?
Correct, Your Honor.
Get a lawyer. You need a lawyer when you deal with him.
I'll do that.
I want you to trust me. Okay?
Gotcha.
Sit. You, sit. So far, you owe him $2,200 in back rent. Now, he's buying the building from you, correct?
Yes.
Good. So we don't have to worry about any damage. What is he going to do with the building that he's buying from you? What's he going to do with it? Do you know?
He's going to live in it.
Himself?
Correct.
With whom?
His daughter.
He was your maintenance man?
Correct.
Do you own more than one building?
No.
Just this building?
Just the one building.
How much is he paying you for the building?
$265,000.
Are you taking back any paper from him, or is he giving you all cash? I'm not talking about him getting a mortgage. I'm asking you whether he asked you, I'll pay you out, not a bank. Is he giving you cash, or is there...
Well, he was going to get a loan.
From a bank?
From a bank, right.
Has he gotten that yet?
Not yet.
And how long has he been looking for this bank loan?
I can't answer that.
How many months?
I'd say maybe 2 months.
And you understood that you had tenants there when you started negotiations with him. Is that right? Did he give you a deposit, sir?
No.
He didn't? Did you sign a contract with him?
No, not yet.
You need a lawyer.
Need a lawyer.
Who do you live with, Mr. Watson?
I'm widowed.
So you live alone?
Correct.
What kind of work did you do?
I was in sales, different companies, different products, and I coached volleyball.
Do you live in your own apartment now?
I have my own house.
So aside from your home, this is your only other building, this commercial
Correct.
building. Okay. Was there an active pizzeria in the bottom of it?
Yes, Your
Is
Honor.
it still there?
The actual pizza place was destroyed by water damage, where the water pipes in the upstairs froze and kind of destroyed the downstairs. But the main reason to close the pizza was because my son, who was actually running the pizza, collapsed of a heart attack.
I see. So the pizza parlor went out of business.
Right. I closed the day that I got the news that he had collapsed. He was on a scout outing with the Boy Scouts, and on the way to breakfast, he collapsed and died. And I closed the pizza and never did reopen it.
What year was that, sir?
He died 2011.
So the downstairs place has been vacant since then?
Correct.
And was it this gentleman's plan to refurbish that? Did he discuss that with you in order to...
No, ma'am. No, I had a cleaning service that came in and aerated and cleaned the carpets downstairs and upstairs, the apartment upstairs, and I paid about $22,000 to have all that work done. What they did, they cleaned the upstairs, put it back into working order where I could rent it. The downstairs is still...
Okay. Who lived upstairs above the pizza parlor? Did your son live upstairs?
No, the Smiths.
I know, but before the Smiths moved in...
Just my son.
So your son did live upstairs?
Correct.
There was nobody living there between the time your son passed away and the time they moved in 2015?
Yes, Your Honor.
There were or were not?
There was one other tenant before us.
Okay.
And they actually had the pizza restaurant opened at one point.
For a short time?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Very good. All right. So far you owe him $2,200 a month rent. Mr. Watson, I'm not interested in the furniture that was there when they first moved in. You haven't lived there in a long time. Is that right?
Correct.
Great. I don't care about that. Now, you're talking about damage. You're talking about damage that was caused by their ferrets.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of damage do you allege was caused by the ferrets?
The urine in the carpet and ferret in the kitchen and also in the attic.
Did they give you a security deposit when they moved in?
No, ma'am. When I rented the property to them, we sat down and went over what the agreements would be, and I told them, well, when they made a payment, put it into my checking account at the local bank, which they did when they paid.
Okay. Do you have photographs of the damage, sir?
Photographs
of the damage?
May I?
Who are you?
I'm his son. Thank you.
Do you have photographs of the damage,
Yes,
is my
he has
question. May I
photos-
see them?
He has photos of the damage.
Oh, yeah.
I also have pictures of my ferrets if you'd like to see
I don't
them.
care to see pictures. I know what ferrets look like.
And Brandon here is the one that took the pictures.
Listen, I don't care about him, okay? Now, they've got a counterclaim for harassment. Unfortunately, you sued the wrong person because you're not claiming he harassed you. This gentleman didn't
Oh,
harass
yes,
you.
he did too. I have a police report.
I'd like to see that. Sure. What's this a picture of?
That's a footprint, just to show.
You can return these to the plaintiff. Why didn't you answer the door when he came?
Because I was home by myself.
And?
My husband was out of town.
Just listen, not my question to you. Why didn't you answer the door? He was a man who was very good to you. He let you skate on the rent when your husband was unemployed. He came to the door, he knocked at the door, you were home, and you refused to answer the door. So my question is, why wouldn't you answer the door to this man who was nothing but nice to you?
Because as we got towards the end, by the time he came, we had already talked with Mr. Heddle. He had asked us to leave.
I'm not talking about Brandon,
right?
The smoke one. I'm talking about this gentleman who had been nothing but nice to you.
Because he didn't come just knocking on the door, Your Honor. He came banging on the windows.
No, he didn't. Not the first time he came. First
no,
time
that was
he came,
all the same time.
No, he came and he knocked at the door. You were home, you didn't answer the door.
This was all the same time when I called.
I understand exactly what you're saying to me. No, I don't believe that. You had absolutely no reason. My problem, Mr. Watson, actually is this. You both told the police, and she said that they owed almost $4,000 in back rent. In here, it says $2,200.
The $2,200, Your Honor, they paid the $800 for the first 3 months. Then he was disabled, was on workman's comp, and he said that as soon as they got his workman's comp, he was going to pay me for the rent. They didn't pay anything for 2 months.
And what was their rent? A month?
800.
800.
Well, they didn't. They paid the 800 the first 3 months.
Okay, but then after that, they did not?
Between that time and the time that they paid me $800 again was the period of $2,200. $2,200
is
what they paid me, and they owed me 70. Where's my sheet here?
You have rent receipts?
I do.
I'd like to see all your rent receipts. That's easy. You moved in May 2015. You were there until October of 2016. So you were there for a year and several months.
Between August 1915 and...
it looks as if you were there for 16 months. Is that correct?
Right. And the...
Just a second. You were there for... Am I correct?
Yes.
How long were they there?
17 months.
From May of 15
a sheet
through
here with the
October 1st.
To October 1st?
October 1st, we were out on that day because that was the move-in day for our new...
Let's say 16 months.
Okay.
Not going to argue. 16 months.
Yeah.
Should have paid $12,800.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
Show me pictures of how you...
I don't have any pictures, but
well, that's too
Mr.
bad.
Zapata came by and collected the keys before I was out.
I read your answer. You said he collected the keys, so you left the door open. So your suggestion is that somebody moved into the house and made this mess for 2 days? What, are you kidding me?
Says former tenants Ray and Becky Smith owe for rent, stolen property, and damages. The defendants are countersuing for harassment.
Now, I want you to take all of these. It's easy. 1, 2.
With all the receipts and stuff, it was like 42 was the total that we were behind.
42?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, that'd be right, 42.
And when my husband got employed again in March, I spoke with Mr. Watson every single day, or every single month, I'm sorry, and told him, you know, if we were behind or not, and what we were planning on doing, so he knew ahead of all of time.
I don't care what he knew. Don't tell me what he knows. You owe him $4,200. Judgment for the plaintiff. We are done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'd been out of town. They hadn't paid the rent, the last month's rent.
Legitimately, I was not ready to get into whatever they were going to get into.
I wanted to find out if she had made a deposit that I didn't know of.
And between him and Brandon, I'm not sure.
I assumed she was home because the car was there.
What was going on, so I just ultimately felt that it was better.
Knocked on the door and maybe knocked on the sliding door.
I was home by myself, and I don't like to be home by myself, so I just locked myself in my room.
I never got a response, so I left.
Get a lawyer, cover your butt.
Oh yeah, I have a lawyer. Drew up all the paperwork and everything.
But it's done. I'm over it. I'm ready to move on.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Davies versus Dunn Beams. Step forward.
Marlene Davies is suing her neighbors, Bert Dunn and girlfriend Amy Beams, for property damage as the result of a dead tree.
Ms. Davies, how long have you and the defendants been neighbors?
Ever since I moved up there in 2000.
So a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time.
And how long have you lived in your home?
About 10, 11 years.
You had a tree on your property.
Yes, ma'am.
That tree, or branch of that tree that was on your property, fell over and damaged the fence and a rabbit hutch that was on the plaintiff's property.
That's correct.
And she's suing for a nominal amount to fix both the fence and to reconstruct the rabbit hutch. If I'm reading your answer right, you acknowledge that the tree was leaning over on her property, and I don't think you even deny the fact that some of that tree, if not all of it, was dead. What kind of tree was it?
It was a scrub oak. It was not dead.
Was that branch dead?
No, it was not.
Do you have photographs of the tree?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it. Your defense seems to be if Miss Davies wanted to trim your tree, then she should have done that.
Absolutely.
And then she wouldn't have had the damage.
Correct.
Right? This is where you are mistaken. Your last name is?
Dunn.
Dunn? Is this the tree that you're talking about?
No, ma'am. In the background.
Oh, I got it. The one that's covered with vines. Is it covered with vines?
May I step up there and point out?
Circle it.
And then in the other picture, she'll see the top where it broke.
Okay.
It's hard for me to tell whether it's...
Well, she said there's another picture where you can see the top of it that it broke
And
off.
Your Honor...
Oh, this one.
Right.
So it was a big branch that fell off. Okay, I got it. I got it.
Big trunk of
Okay,
the tree.
so this is where your thinking, sir, is wrong.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You're being annoying. Because I don't understand why somebody would want to interrupt when it appears as if your side is winning.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Weren't you listening to what I said to him?
Yes, ma'am.
Davies says neighbors Bert Dunn and girlfriend Amy Beams owe for damage to her fence and rabbit hutch caused by a dead tree.
The plaintiff has the right to trim a tree, whether it be dead or alive, that's encroaching over her property line. She has the right to do that. You are confusing right with responsibility. Those are two different things. You couldn't complain if the plaintiff trimmed the tree that was hanging over her property. You would have no cause of action because you are encroaching on her property. But if that tree which is on your property that doesn't look like a healthy tree, that tree is your responsibility. She has the right to trim it, but you have the responsibility to maintain it in such a way so that it does not cause damage to your neighbor's property. And if you neglect to do that, and you may have a property that has lots of trees, I understand that. It's happened to me many times, both ways with neighbors. But if my tree damages a neighbor's property, I'm responsible, even though the neighbor had the right to trim it. You're confusing those two things, sir. Do you understand?
No, I disagree.
Well, I'm going to try to explain it to you again.
Fine.
The branch of your tree was hanging over her property, over her fence, and over this rabbit hutch. She, if she wanted to, at her expense, could have had someone come in and trim that tree, and you would have no cause to complain. Mm-hmm. That was her right. However, she does not have the responsibility to maintain the tree. You do. It's your tree. And if your tree, because she chooses not to spend the money to trim it, if you choose not to either take it down or trim it, it's your responsibility if it causes damage. I tried to say that even louder so you could understand it.
I understand what you're saying, but she let the branch die enough for a storm caused to fall on her property.
No, sir. You let it...
Sorry, Your Honor.
You're being annoying. Because I don't understand why somebody would want to interrupt when it appears as if your side is winning.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Weren't you listening to what I said to him?
Yes, ma'am.
She didn't let the branch die. You did. And right now you just cooked your own goose because you said it was a healthy tree. You said she let the branch die. She didn't. It wasn't her tree. It was your tree.
That branch laid in her property. That's where she let it die, where she gets her pictures of a dead tree.
I don't understand. I read your answer. Your answer clearly says that a branch of your tree fell and damaged her property. You acknowledge that in your answer.
Yeah, I mean, there's pictures. Why would I deny that?
But then I don't understand your response to what I'm saying to you.
That's how I feel.
I don't care how you feel. What you're feeling is unimportant to me. I just told you what the law is.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
to trim the tree. It's not her responsibility. It's your responsibility, if you've got a tree with dead limbs, to make it safe so that it doesn't damage other people's property. That's your responsibility. There's a difference between a right and a responsibility.
I have lots of trees on my property. It's a very dense area in the wooded area back. She has an open yard with a fence, very easily for her to see, and could have brought it to my attention.
That she could have, but I'm going to suggest that if it's very dense where you are, what you do is you periodically walk around the perimeter of your property and take a look at it. If you choose to let trees die that could impact your house, that's your right. But you cannot allow trees to die on the perimeter of your property and damage other people's property because you're putting the onus on your neighbor, either to bring it to your attention, and with your attitude, you would have said, if you don't like that dead tree branch, trim it.
It wasn't dead.
You just told me. You just said to me 2 seconds ago. You told me 2 seconds ago she allowed the tree branch to die. She should have notified me that it was dead.
That's
you just said that to me a moment ago.
After it died.
All right. You have to fix your fence on the rabbit hutch?
Yes.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount requested, $600. We're finished here.
Party Judge Judy, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Well, naturally, I'm happy because I won, but
I think it's ridiculous.
the mistake they were making, it wasn't a branch, it was a whole tree trunk fell.
I think she could have trimmed the tree branch a long time ago.
But that's okay if he thinks it was a scrub oak and it wasn't rotten. That's good.
She let the storm damage it, fall in her yard, and she let it lay there and rot for months.
My son has the weather report for that day. No rain.
She didn't need permission to trim. I mean, it's on her yard. She could have trimmed it. Could have been done with a long time ago.
He didn't give a damn.
Nah, we're still neighbors. I mean, we got to get along.
Well, I've already given him notice that he's got rotten trees he needs to take care of, so
There's no hard feelings to her.
in the event it happens again, I guess we'll be back.
You know, maybe next time we can have some better communication.
I like Judge Judy.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Barnett versus Williams. Step forward.
Gregory Barnett is suing his former best friend, Joseph Williams, for stealing money from his bank account and selling his belongings while he was in jail.
Mr. Barnett, you were living in the defendant's apartment, and in July of last year, there was some sort of an incident involving you and your boyfriend in the apartment. According to what I've read, you were arrested. Actually, all three of you were arrested. You, Mr. Williams, and the boyfriend were arrested. Mr. Williams had nothing to do with the incident involving your boyfriend or the weapon that was found in the house, so he was released later that day. You, on the other hand, spent several months in jail. And your complaint is that while you were in jail, he either disposed of some of your stuff, kept some of your stuff, and drained your bank account. So you want a total of about $4,000. Mr. Williams says that he got rid of all the stuff that was there after a period of time. He did, in fact, use money from your bank account, but that was to pay your bills. Now, he has a counterclaim. The counterclaim is for damage to the apartment that you and your boyfriend did when you had this kerfuffle at the apartment. And in addition, because of you and the boyfriend, he spent a day in jail. Do I have the case pretty well down, Pat?
You got it. Like that.
Perfect.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I guarantee you that you are no greater a friend to Mr. Barnett than I am to my best friend. And yet I don't know her banking information. So you want to try something else with regard to the banking information.
That says former best friend Joseph Williams stole his money and sold his belongings while he was in jail. Joseph is countersuing for damages to his apartment and a false arrest.
Now, how much did he take out of your bank account?
$2,848.
How did he get access to your bank account?
I gave it to him.
You gave him the card.
No, I didn't give him the card. I let him know the code. Like, I know his code. He knows my code.
So he know. When did you give him the code?
Probably like 5 years ago. Like, it's been a long time. We've known each other for a very long time.
Let me tell you this. I have a best friend since we're 9 years old. We've been best friends for decades. I don't know her bank account information, and she doesn't know mine. There's just no need for that, for her to have my bank account information so that she can go to my bank and I can go to her bank. You want to try another story?
I mean, we're more than friends. We're brothers. Like,
You're brothers?
We're more than friends. We're brothers.
When you say brothers, brothers to me means related by either blood or adoption. Are you related to Mr. Barnett by blood or adoption?
No, not.
Then you're friends. I guarantee you that you are no greater a friend to Mr. Barnett than I am to my best friend. And yet I don't know her banking information. So you want to try something else with regard to the banking information.
I gave it to him. I trusted him enough to give him my PIN code. I know
For what?
In case, like, maybe there's a day I can't get to the bank and I need someone to go to the store and pick up some money out of the ATM, he would do it for me.
Well, that's what he did when you were in jail. He took out money from your bank account.
But I didn't give him permission to. He does it under my permission.
If you give him your PIN number, he said he paid your bills. What bills did you pay?
I pay a cell phone bill.
How much?
It was probably like $50.
$50. Go ahead. What else?
And then that's pretty much.
Well, $28.48 was taken out. $50. I give you $50. It's $2,800.
And then it was like also bills that was put onto my house, like my electricity bill that I had to pay from him.
Well, then you can't do that. Those are your bills, not his bills.
But by the end of the day, they were still staying with me.
What?
By the end of the day, they were still staying with me.
I don't care. They were your bills.
Okay.
So you took $2,800 out of his bank account. Good.
I mean, I didn't take that amount of money out.
You didn't? How much did you take?
I probably took out a few hundreds.
Oh, well, show me where the withdrawals were made and tell me from what date to what date you were incarcerated.
I was incarcerated from July 28th of 2015 till November 23rd. That's all the statements of things that he did with it.
You like to eat at the High Hope Deli?
That's my store on my block.
So you like to eat there was my question.
I mean, I didn't slide the card there. I was getting money out the ATM there.
Ah, well, then these are all your bills. And these are all while he was in jail. Perfect.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
That's when a few minutes later the cops came and they locked all of us up.
Why is that his fault?
Because I told him, don't be fighting in my house. Don't be doing this, don't be doing that. This is not the first time this incident happened.
He's your brother.
Yeah,
Gregory Barnett says former best friend Joseph Williams stole his money and sold his belongings while he was in jail. Joseph is countersuing for damages to his apartment and a false arrest.
Now, you must have been angry with him when you got arrested.
No, because after I got rid of his stuff, that's when I got rid of the card. Now, after the car, I don't know what happened.
How did you get rid of his card?
I just threw it away. I don't know, maybe his boyfriend been using it or something like that. I don't know.
$2,800.
Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah.
I was told that all my clothing were sold.
You can't tell me what you were told. Mr. Williams, what did you do with his stuff?
I took it to the Goodwill.
What about any of his electronics that were there?
With that, I got rid of that too. That was in the suitcase too.
I don't believe that, sir. Why would you give away his laptop?
Oh, that's my laptop.
What about an iPhone?
Oh, that, I got rid of that.
Well, getting rid of it, you didn't give it to Goodwill. You sold it.
That I got rid of. Now,
so I said you didn't give that to Goodwill.
Okay.
You sold it.
Okay.
Certain things, maybe are believable. Certain things are not. So the iPhone 6 you did not give to Goodwill. What did you do with it?
I sold it.
Yes. Good. Well, that's good.
I had to get it out of my house.
Okay, so you sold it.
What's the cackle?
Who did you sell it to?
Huh?
How do you mean, huh? Who did you sell it? Who did you sell it to?
To an electronics store.
How much did you get for it?
50. No. I'm sorry. It was like 200, and I paid the electricity bill.
Okay. Now, Mr. Williams, you have a countersuit for damage to your apartment. Do you have photographs of that?
Yes, I surely
I'd like to
do.
take a look at it. Get a little spackle.
What's that mean?
Get spackle. Spackle.
Oh.
You know what spackle is?
Plaster.
Plaster. You get it in the store. You get a little tiny container. Wait, Bert is going to be very impressed. You get in a little tiny tub, and along with it, you buy a thing for probably $1.98. And you take the stuff out, and you fill in the crack or fill in the hole, and then you go like this, and then you let it dry.
Oh, that's too much work.
That's too much work. I know. It's not too much work for me. Now, you were arrested. You want to tell me why you think he's responsible for your arrest?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Ever thought about what you want done after you're gone? For many, it's a traditional burial. For others, cremation.
You want to tell me why you think he's responsible for your arrest?
Because my name was on the lease, and he was living there. When I came up to my apartment, all this stuff was happening, and I was trying to figure out what happened. That's when a few minutes later, the cops came, and they locked all of us up.
Why is that his fault?
Why is that his fault? Because I told him, don't be fighting in my house. Don't be doing this, don't be doing that.
He's your brother.
Yeah,
Did you think this was going to be easy, Mr. Williams?
No, it's just like,
So why, so, you know, you come here, you come from New York, is that where we flew you in from?
Yep.
Right? So we flew you here, put you up in a hotel. You know, you're in the land of sunshine. It's a little warmer here than it is in New York, right? A little warmer. You thought it would be a good time. You have to face me. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. That's $2,800 for the bank account, and the other $200 was for the electronics that he sold. He counted
on me, and they took me to jail for...
Yeah, the police showed up that day.
A firearm that was not even mine to begin with, but I...
And they locked us all up. What do you mean? You heard what happened in there?
Took the rap for it to save my best friend and to save my ex. It was stupid.
By the end of the day, me and Gregory gonna talk about this stuff later.
I know that we have our differences.
And we gonna...
Some get clever.
What's the story? I'm sticking to it.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Others get hostile.
I want to tell you what happened.
Judge Judy gets the last word.
They don't keep me here because I'm gorgeous. They keep me here because I'm smart. I have no grief.
Be seated.
Your last name is?
Hay.
Mr. Hay, how long do you know the defendant?
Probably close to 30 years.
And what was your relationship with her?
Just a friend.
This is your girlfriend?
That's correct.
How long have you been together?
Since 2010.
There was a period recently when you were not together, you and your girlfriend?
We had rough times, yes.
Recently. I'm talking about the recent past.
If recent is within the last 2 years, yes.
Yes. Tell me when that period was.
I want to say, what year are we in?
No, don't ask her any questions, especially if you have to ask her what year we're in. Give me a month and year.
2013.
So since 2013, you and your girlfriend have not had any breakups?
Since 2013, we have not.
Do you live together?
We do, and we had during that time as well.
There came a time, according to you, that you loaned a car to the defendant.
That's correct.
Whose car was it?
It was myself and Lawson's car.
Who was it titled to?
To the both of us.
Did you discuss with Miss Lawson loaning the car to the defendant?
I did. I told her that I was taking it to loan it to Miss Stout.
Did she approve of that?
Not so well.
Right, I wouldn't. You could understand that.
Absolutely.
And did you have words about it?
Absolutely.
That's why I was asking you. I read the complaint. And you have a car together. You're living together since 2010, and you're going to lend your car to a friend of yours for 30 years, a female friend of yours who was single, I assume.
As far as I know, she was with somebody.
She's single.
Okay.
So were you.
Not during that time.
Single? Yes, you were single. You were either single or married. See, they don't have, you know, on applications, they have single, married, separated, widowed, widower, or divorced.
Okay.
Those are your statuses.
Okay. Single.
You are very single.
Thank you.
She's willing to tolerate that? Good for you. But I wouldn't like it if my boyfriend of 6 years loaned a car that's at least half mine to another girl.
Understood.
But you did it anyway.
Yes, I did.
Tell me why.
I did it because Miss Stout was in need of a vehicle. I had other vehicles that would allow my household to do what we needed to do. Plus, during this time, I wanted the car out of my name.
Oh, well, that's interesting. So you wanted the car out of your name. Why?
Well, we were having issues, like I said, prior to that, and I wanted to lose the attachment to the vehicle during that time.
You know, Mr. Hay, that sounded like a whole bunch of goulash to me.
Okay.
I mean, you're not a married couple. How do you get it out of your name? Did you take the title out of your name?
That's what we eventually did.
You did?
We traded it in to purchase, or she traded it in to get it out of my name per my request.
You want to explain this to me, Miss Lawson? Because I'm not going to get a legitimate answer from him. Maybe I won't get one from you either. But don't try my patience. So try to give me something that is truthful so that I can accept it. Now, he loaned the car allegedly to the defendant on what date?
On July 26th of 2015.
And how long did she have the car?
4 weeks.
And you knew she had the car?
Yes.
And what did you do after she returned the car?
Within the next 2 weeks, I had traded it in for a brand new Toyota Camry.
And in whose name is the Camry?
Mine.
Alone?
Yes.
Is he going through a bankruptcy?
No.
Well, explain to me why. Did he not want the loan in his name? Just explain it to me.
When we went through hard times, we had several vehicles that were tied to both of us, and we wanted them separate. We got back together. He has a vehicle in his name solely. I have one in my name, and then we have one in both of our names.
What is your complaint about her, Miss Lawson? Why are you here today?
There's some fees that are owed and a rental car fees that are owed that she didn't pay and hasn't paid, and she neglected to pay them. So they've gone into collections. They've gone to law firm collections.
Well, is that on a credit card that you are a co-signer on?
That was at the time on an account that we were both on. We were both jointly putting our paychecks into.
And so the credit card was in both your names? What credit card was it?
It was actually the main card that he used was a Chase debit card.
Who paid for the rental car? Raise your hand. Who paid for the rental car? You did.
Yes.
Okay. Did you discuss with Miss Lawson paying for the rental car?
I did not.
And she wasn't happy with you loaning the car in the first place?
In the first place, absolutely correct.
And so to add insult to injury, you decided to let her use a joint debit card to rent a car. And you're telling me the last trouble you had with Miss Lawson was in 2013?
Miss Lawson and I have an understanding.
I don't understand what that means.
Well, we understand how our household works with the issues that had taken place prior. We have an understanding that, you know, we're going to continue our relationship and not move backwards. So what that's stating
Well,
is,
we're talking about 2015.
Yes.
We're not talking about ancient history here,
That's
sir.
correct.
You said you hadn't had any discord since 2013. Sounds like a lot of discord in 2015.
actually, we've been really well since we've gotten back together.
Well, when did you get back together?
The end of 2013.
Well, evidently not. You wanted things out of your name?
I did.
You wanted to lend a joint car that she objected to. You did it anyway.
I did.
You used a joint account to pay for a rental car for an old female friend.
I sure did.
And you're telling me that you think that that's healthy for a relationship when you know that your partner is not happy with it?
Well, in my opinion, and the way that I kind of seen it, is I was helping an old friend who needed help, and she knows the type of individual that I am, and I'm going to go out of my way to help people that need help. I've always been that way, regardless of if anybody likes it or not.
You sound like a prince.
I'm not.
A prince. Prince.
Well.
What fees did you accumulate while you had the rental car?
There were some toll roads. Toll roads.
Well, why didn't you pay them?
I had my fast track in the window, but I guess if you don't register the plate with the fast track, sometimes they run your plate instead of the fast track. So I didn't know that there was anything that had
What were the fees?
The 91 express lane fees are a total of $442.30 that are in collection. The ones that are not in collection are $242.30. And then the toll road violations are $212.50. Not including, though, on top of that, the Hertz administration fee for the toll roads that they charge us the $30 a piece for 3 of them.
So it's $90.
$90.
$986 in tolls and fines. Anything else?
Still the outstanding rental car fee?
You said that you did it. You were helping a friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what she says. You were helping a friend. It was a gift.
No.
What?
Nobody ever said gift. Nobody ever used the word gift.
She did.
Oh,
she
did
did,
she?
and so did you.
No, I never did.
Well, you did when you said to me, I believe in helping out a friend in need.
Absolutely.
Good.
And her and I had a conversation that she would take care of the $840 when I first went to rent the car. Hence the reason why we put it on the car in the first place and why I was willing to deal with Donna when I got home.
Great.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Your request for money for filing a false restraining order is denied. The fact that you found out that your live-in was not doing the right thing, to say the least. You know it, I know it, she knows it, and he knows it.
And later today.
Did she ask you to buy those things for her?
She asked me to buy her a pair of shoes, correct?
Is that right?
I did not. I said that if there was something she found I would like, I would be happy. But if she didn't, I wouldn't take anything.
That doesn't sound like a conversation.
Hey, and Donna Lawson say Kenneth's former friend, Melissa Stout Corveau, owes for a rental car toll fees, and a restraining order.
Now, the next part of your complaint deals with a false restraining order. Can I see a copy of the restraining order that you filed?
Here's a copy. There's actually two of them. One was for him and one was for her.
Tell me why you filed this restraining order.
January 30th, I'd received a text message on my work line from Miss Lawson that I didn't even know who she was about owing money for toll road fees that I thought I'd already taken care of, as well as for a rental car. When that had happened, the following day, I had received a phone call from the Fontana Police Department accusing me of stealing a garage remote and burglarizing a house. I'm a realtor. I can't have those kinds of issues. And then he asked me about a lawsuit that was filed, and I told him I knew nothing about a lawsuit. 2 hours later, my work had been served with a lawsuit by Miss Lawson, who was slandering me.
But what did she say in the lawsuit?
The lawsuit itself, it's the civil lawsuit. It's the civil lawsuit that she served me for Kenneth Hay. The actual lawsuit we're doing today. So that I had known nothing about. And then...
Ms. Lawson, where did Mr. Hay tell you the car was during the month that the defendant had the car?
With Melissa.
So you knew her name?
Yes.
She didn't know you. Is that true?
I don't believe so, no.
You don't believe it's true? Do you remember ever meeting her?
No.
Well, then maybe he didn't tell her.
They were on Facebook together. She knew because we were all over. I mean, our pictures were on Facebook. We were tagged in posts. She knew.
Do you have her text message acknowledging this debt?
I actually have a Facebook message from her acknowledging the debt. Absolutely.
Okay, well, it's clear from this text message that you acknowledge this debt.
I didn't.
And what you say is, he didn't tell me I'd have to pay him back right away. I'm having a very bad time of it. If I knew I had to pay you back right away, I never would have accepted it, as I knew my situation and knew it was not a possibility. And I'm requesting that your girlfriend never contact anyone that I know or me again, as I will be forced to proceed with legal actions against her for harassment. This is not okay. This will affect my livelihood as well as my children's. Is that why you filed the protective order?
That's why I filed a protective order.
So your request for money for filing a false restraining order is denied. The fact that you found out that your live-in was not doing the right thing, to say the least. I don't have to go into it. You know it. I know it. She knows it. And he knows it. But she says she should pay him back. Now, the car rental was how much?
$1,122.64.
Did you pay any of the tolls?
I paid all of them. I added the license plate to my account, so it retroacted and paid everything. Apparently, there was 3 trailing that she had given to my boss as proof that they had gone to collections. I went and added that. I extended it even further for the date, so I actually have it in here. And I also paid the admin fees as well.
Well, where does it say it was paid?
That's the only vehicle I had, and that's the only car I have on the account. So I added it that time frame.
Can I see what you have, please, as far as what went into collections for this car?
This is the collections. Then there is also an email and a 91 Express Lane recently, and every one of the toll road violations.
Also, I see you paid one $30 fee from Hertz.
There's 2. That's all that was on there. That when I called them and spoke to them, they told me that's what was owed.
And I'd like to see the Hertz rental car for $11.22.
That's the invoice.
Did you pay any part of this Hertz rental bill?
No.
Anything else? Great. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,038. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step down.
I paid the tolls that I thought I had.
I did offer to help her during her time of need.
A vindictive girlfriend.
And unfortunately, she took my kindness for weakness.
Move on.
We prevailed as a team, and that's what matters.
Seated. Folks, have a seat.
Tell me your first name.
Kiamara.
How old are you?
13.
It is your claim that the defendant struck you with his truck while you were crossing the street.
Yes.
When did that happen?
June 20th.
Where were you going?
I was going to the store with my older cousin.
What's your older cousin's name?
Camille.
How old is that cousin?
I think she just turned 16.
So she was with you when this happened?
Yes.
Was she crossing the street with you?
No, she was ahead of me.
How much ahead of you?
She was across the street.
So you were trying to catch up with her?
I was waiting till the car went past.
So you walked out of your house, and the car that you saw was this man's truck. Is that right? Tell me what happened.
So I looked.
You walked out of your house. Your cousin was there. You were going to the store with your cousin. She got across the street, which means that she had to run across the street.
Yes.
Because that's common sense. If you were walking out together, she ran across the street.
Yes.
Because there must have been cars coming. You waited.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I looked both ways. I seen his truck coming. So I looked at him, I seen a head nod, and I continued. I wasn't all the way across the street, and I got hit on my left side.
So what you and your father want me to believe is that Mr. Tolliver acknowledged you, gave you a nod so that you could cross the street, and then purposely hit you. That's what's suggested here. That was what your father suggested in the complaint, that he told you to cross and waited until you got into the street and then hit you with his car.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Mannings, you came out of your house, right?
No, so basically, after she was hit by the car, I was not actually on the scene. The mother was closer to the scene than I was.
Who attacked the defendant?
I do not know anything about an attack.
Somebody attack you?
Yeah, I was assaulted on the scene.
By whom?
I believe it was her uncle.
Was your cousin's father at your house that day?
No.
Was another uncle at your house that day?
No.
Well, you were out there, correct?
Yes.
Who came up to Mr. Tolliver?
I don't know.
You weren't unconscious.
No, but I didn't know who that man was.
What did the man do to him?
I just seen the man punch him, and then that's all.
And you don't know who this man was?
No.
And that's what you told the police?
Yes.
Police asked you who the man was?
Yes, they did.
Did you have insurance on your truck?
Yes.
So that's a lie.
Just a second. Going to find out. On the date of this incident, did you have insurance on your truck?
I did.
You did? You said that was a lie?
Correct. I have
Show
evidence. The police report said he was driving without valid license, and also a letter from the insurance that I tried to go after in regards to the medical bills, that he did not have insurance during this time. That's why I had to make a small claim.
Did you give them your insurance card, which was Progressive?
Yes.
It says unable to find valid coverage for this incident.
Yeah, so I had recently just bought that truck, and I registered online on my phone. I had all the information, VIN number and all that. They have an option on there, save information, and so it was registered on there, but it wasn't active. So the day when this happened, the police asked me for the insurance. I pulled it up on my phone. That's why I didn't receive any tickets or anything on the scene, and it showed that I had proof of insurance. When I finally talked to my insurance company, they said that they weren't going to cover because it wasn't active. I just saved the information on there. So after activating it, they said that they wouldn't start covering me until the 21st, and that was the day after the scene, or after the accident.
So you didn't have insurance? The answer is you didn't have insurance on the date of this incident. When did you purchase the car?
A month or two prior to this. It was just a work truck, so it didn't drive, not a daily driver.
Police report says that the vehicle was traveling at about 20 miles an hour. So he approached the driveway. Is that your driveway where this happened?
It's my auntie's.
It's your aunt's house?
Yes.
What's your uncle's name?
His name is Curtis, but he was at work at the time.
I'm still interested in who attacked Mr. Tolliver. You know who attacked Mr. Tolliver?
I'm not for sure. When I got there, the police and everything was already there.
Is there a police report in regards to this attack?
Your daughter just said he was attacked by a male who she didn't know, whose name she didn't know. Do you understand what I'm saying, sir?
I understand that.
Good. Okay. You want to tell me your version of the events?
Sure. So I was traveling northbound on 21st Avenue. I actually live right at the top of the hill there, around the corner. You know, there's no sidewalks on the street. I mean, where that little island is before you hit 21st at the bus stop.
You want to go over there?
Sure.
Show me?
So I was traveling northbound. I just merged off of Delridge. This is 21st Avenue. This island right here is a bus stop, so there's people that, you know, catch the bus right here. Here's their house right here, their driveway. They have always like a lot of cars parked in there, side by side. I mean, just that day, I mean, it was middle of summer, so They had 2 cars on each side parked, about 6 cars in the driveway. As soon as I passed, you know, I didn't see her coming out. She came running out from in between the 6 cars that were parked side by side in the driveway. So obviously I wasn't traveling fast because there was no tire marks or anything. I was able to stop.
You weren't given a citation.
I wasn't ticketed, and she just darted out in front of the car. So I stopped, tried to make sure that she was all right. But getting out of my vehicle, I couldn't even unbuckle my seat. I opened my door, I'm getting out, and I was immediately snatched by my shirt collar and punched multiple times inside of my ear, splitting my earlobe right here, bruised my eardrum. And then by all this stuff's going on, my wife has hopped out of my truck. She's over there comforting the child. Nobody from their party or the family was over there to comfort this child. Okay, everybody was worried about assaulting me. And after this time, the police had arrived. This was literally across the street from the police station. So the police arrived, and I said, first thing to the officer, I said, can you guys contain that guy? He just assaulted me. And the police said, well, I need to get both sides of the story. And while this is all going on, I'm like, hey, this guy just assaulted me. He's kind of like walking off, walks in the house. So they never arrested him or was able to identify who he was, and nobody would give his name. But he did say, as he was assaulting me, and he's punching me in the head, you hit my niece, you know. And so.
Okay, now you can go there. Now you can go over to the map and show me. You were coming out of the driveway.
So I was coming out of
the driveway, and I want you to show me where your cousin was standing.
My cousin was across the street right here waiting for me. So there was actually 6 cars there. I peeked my head out, looked both ways. I seen a green truck coming. So I seen a head nod, so I started continuing. And then I wasn't all the way across the street, and I got hit, and I fell right here. And my cousin ran up to me to see if I was okay. And then after that, like, I was pulled to the driveway. I got asked, was I okay?
Could you go over there and stand next to your father now? Go ahead.
I got asked if I was okay by a lot of people. His wife came, she hugged me to see if I was okay. And then my mother came, and my mother was with me throughout that whole time.
Very nice. Anything else anybody wants to tell me?
Yeah, I mean, I have, copies of the fire department actually wrote a statement on the scene. I have the assault report, pictures of the driveway.
I'd like to see the assault report.
Okay. This might go with it too. The fire department actually wrote this up.
What's the fire department doing there?
Police, fire department, everybody came. I think the fire department was the first on the scene.
May I have that, please? It's very distressing to me that you wouldn't give up the uncle. Very distressing to me. He had absolutely no business to do what he did. You understand that, don't you? Do you understand that, don't you?
I understand that, but again, I don't know of any attack that happened on the scene.
Well, I know you don't. Only she does. And I don't believe her.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
First, I'm going to tell you to go, then I'm going to hit you.
Right.
And then I'm going to stop, and my wife is going to get out of the car, and I'm going to get out of the car to see if you're okay. He's not a psychopath. Your daughter's not telling you the truth.
And later today,
Mr. Brown picked up the slack and made payments on your behalf for the student loan. So you would acknowledge that you owe him that money.
No, I don't.
I don't see how you could not.
14-year-old Kiamara Mannings says motorist Dwayne Tolliver hit her while she was crossing the street. Dwayne claims Kiamara darted into the road.
Now, I believe she darted out in the middle of the street. She got hit by a car.
I don't
believe her. I don't believe her for a lot of reasons. First of all, I don't believe her because when I said to her, who was the person who hit him? And she did see a person hit him, and he was injured. She said, I don't know who that is. And that's not true. Because her mother knew who it was. Her mother named him. And then when the police went to the house, they say he's not here. That's all in the report.
I didn't see that report. I'm sorry.
It's all in the report.
Your Honor, may I add something else?
You told them that the person who they were looking for was Cornelius? Cornelius.
Yes, that was his name.
Yes. And is Cornelius her uncle?
Yes.
Well, then she would know who it was. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Do you understand what I'm talking about? Good. She darted out in between the cars. He absolutely did not nod for her to cross and then hit her intentionally. And with his wife in the car and then get out of the car to find out how she was, because you would have to be a psychopath to do that, to say to a young child who was running across the road, go ahead, and then I'm going to hit you, and then I'm going to stop the car in the middle of this territory where there are 6 cars parked in the driveway to see if you're all right. First, I'm going to tell you to go, then I'm going to hit you.
Right.
And then I'm going to stop, and my wife is going to get out of the car, and I'm going to get out of the car to see if you're okay. He's not a psychopath. Your daughter's not telling you the truth. Not every time that a car hits a pedestrian is it the car's fault. Sometimes it's the pedestrian's fault, and she was running after her cousin, and she darted out between the cars, and that's what happened. That's not his fault. Not a good guy for traveling without insurance, but it's not his fault. And it's outrageous that you covered for this guy who assaulted him. Absolutely outrageous. Your case is dismissed. We're done.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused and step out.
I do not know anything else about no assault.
It was terrifying having my own children in the car at the same time and being assaulted and thinking you really hurt a child.
I believe the defendant was at fault.
Next case.
All parties in the matter of Diaz Metter versus Jackson Bedell. Step forward.
24-year-old Savannah Diaz and boyfriend Lauren Metter are suing their former roommates, Tony Jackson and boyfriend Brady Bedell, for unpaid rent and bills. The defendants are countersuing for hotel expenses and lost wages.
Are you two people a couple?
Yes.
Are you two people a couple?
Yes.
And you lived together, the two couples, for a brief period of time.
Correct.
And that didn't work out, which is not unusual, which is what keeps me in business. And you think that they owe you money for rent, for utilities, and other nonsense. They say you forced them out of the apartment, you should pay their hotel bills. If you think I'm not excited about this case, I want to tell you something. I'm really not excited about it. So we're going to keep it moving forward as quickly as possible.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I gave them money every single month.
Show me.
I have every single month, and every yellow note is where we actually gave them money, how much and what for.
When did you prepare that? Oh, it's not an answer.
And boyfriend Lauren Metter are suing their former roommates, Tony Jackson and boyfriend Brady Bedell, for unpaid rent and bills. The defendants are countersuing for hotel expenses and lost wages.
Okay, what month do you claim they owe you rent for?
The prorated month of November.
Were they living in the apartment?
They moved out on October 28th.
So they were not living there in November?
Correct.
When did you move out of the apartment?
November 7th.
So you were not living in the apartment?
Correct.
Did you pay rent for the apartment that you shared for the month of November?
Well, we paid for the 1st to the 7th.
So the answer is no.
Correct.
You did not pay for the month of November.
Correct.
Then they don't have to pay you for the month of November. See, isn't that easy? Perfect. I'm taking it as a given that you didn't get along, and that's why this whole thing went sour, okay? You moved into another apartment in the same complex, I assume a smaller one.
Correct.
2 people, you live there alone?
No.
No.
You have roommates? You don't learn. I have no sympathy. So they don't owe you for November's rent. What else do you think that they owe you for?
Well, we looked up in the Washington state law.
I don't care about Washington state law.
Right.
They didn't live there. You didn't live there. You didn't pay rent. They're not going to pay you for something that you didn't pay. Let us move on.
We also have past utilities and electric and cable.
For what month?
October. And utilities from August and October.
Take out those bills. How much is it that you claim is their share of the utilities for August and October?
Utilities for October. I'm sorry, there's also September in there as well. $73.44 for September, and it was $45.69 for October, and $45.96.
And that's their share?
Their share.
Okay. Do you acknowledge that you owe them that? It's either a yes or a no?
Yes.
Great. See how easy this is? What else?
We also have Comcast. And
for what month?
For October 27th to November.
Forget it. Next. Let's go. Come on. I have $119. I have things to do. Let's move. What else?
She never gave us 30 days or any notice whatsoever to move out.
She gave us 3 days notice.
$119. And be happy your landlord let you move into another apartment. And you were foolish enough to take in other roommates. Anyway, now I'm going to get to your counterclaim. So far, you owe them $119. You want them to pay your hotel room.
Correct.
Because?
We gave them a 36-day notice on October 25th.
So?
And they moved out on us, or gave us that they were changing the lease and moving on October 28th.
So?
So we left October 30th.
Good for you. Good. Yeah. Are you staying in a hotel now?
No, our new apartment was not available until November 20th, and so we did have to stay in hotels until that time because we were not in the new apartment.
Well, good. You didn't pay November's rent, right?
Correct.
Good. Use that money.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by
$15 for utilities. We're done here. Thank you.
I actually, but I have receipts that I paid them $350 in electricity and cable bills.
Just a second. I thought you said that you owe them $119.
You said it was a yes or no question. I do agree that we did agree that we had bills, and I gave them money every single month.
Show me.
I have every single month, and every yellow note is where we actually gave them money, how much and what for.
When did you prepare that? It's not an answer. When did you prepare it?
Every month. I'm a server, so I collect cash every day, and this was done every single day, month by month.
How many months did you live together?
Only 4 months.
Okay, give me some proof. That's not it. That you gave them $73 and $46.
It will be written on here.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $119. We're done.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy. Now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Jones versus Cooper. Step forward.
23-year-old Courtney Jones is suing ex-boyfriend Brian Cooper for vet bills and the return of a Shih Tzu. Brian is countersuing for the return of a TV.
All right, this is another one of those ridiculous custody cases involving a dog. Okay. This used to be your boyfriend. You lived together for a period of time, and you broke up on what date?
January 10th of 2016.
You say it's your dog. You say it's your dog. You paid for the dog.
Yeah.
You don't deny that he paid for the dog.
I don't deny that at all.
How much did you pay for the dog, sir?
$400 cash.
$400 cash. Cute puppy.
Yeah.
Very cute puppy. Where did you buy her?
I actually went online and found a dog on Craigslist and met with the dog breeder in a surrounding city.
She's cute.
Yeah, she's
cute.
That's why I didn't want to give her up.
What's her name?
Chloe.
Okay. Now, Miss Jones, what did you buy Mr. Cooper for Christmas?
Nothing.
I don't believe that.
Okay.
Just want you to understand that. I don't believe that you bought him nothing.
Okay.
Now I'm going to start again. I'm going to ask the question again. What did you buy Mr. Cooper for Christmas?
I wouldn't say it's something, a hoodie, a jogging
Just a
suit
second.
set.
I want you, he was your boyfriend for a while, you're living together. I want you to think back and tell me what you bought him for Christmas. Then I'm going to ask him.
Okay.
If he tells me a more believable story, I'm going to believe him.
Sure.
Do you understand?
I understand.
Great.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I asked for my money back, and he gave me like a runaround.
So he gave you the runaround, but then he bought you a puppy. Is that what you want me to believe?
I didn't ask for the puppy, though. I didn't know he was buying a puppy until the moment
so it's not something that you really wanted.
Jones says ex-boyfriend Brian Cooper stole her Shih Tzu.
Now, what did you buy him for Christmas?
A really cheap jogging suit set.
Jogging suit?
Really nothing.
And when you moved out, you took a television set?
Yes.
That you purchased?
Yes.
When did you purchase it?
I purchased it in November for Black Friday. So it's, I guess, the week of Thanksgiving. I purchased it online.
You purchased the television set online, Black Friday.
Black Friday.
About 3 or 4 days before he bought the puppy.
Coincidence.
Not in my head.
It was a surprise.
No, not in my head. Because this is what your case is about. You say he gave you the puppy for Christmas. When you broke up, you left. According to Mr. Cooper, you took the television that you bought him for Christmas. You took coat that you had purchased for him. What kind of coat, sir?
I don't know. I think it was something like a North Face or something like that.
Was it recently purchased for you?
No, the coat was last year, but she took it with her.
Last year?
Right.
You remember the coat?
I don't remember taking it.
No. He's not lying. He's not lying. You remember the television, taking the television?
Yes, I do.
What else did you take when you moved out?
All of my belongings, including the television that belongs to me.
Well, and he kept the dog that he paid for. That's what he did.
It's a difference.
No, not in my head. You decided to take the TV that you purchased for how much?
$900, roughly.
$900. You decided to take it with you, and he decided to keep the puppy. Puppy that you weren't particularly attached to because it had only been in your house at that point for maybe 3 weeks, and which is easily replaced by you. because now he's had the puppy in his house for a month and a half without you. And it looks as if the puppy is pretty happy.
She always looks that way. May I elaborate?
Tell me whatever you like.
Okay, so when he purchased the puppy, well, first let me start by the TV.
So let's go to the TV.
Okay, so the TV. In the city that we stay in, they were sold out. Just so happened I was going out of town for Thanksgiving, and I agreed if I find the TV, I will buy it for him with him paying me back. So I did. I didn't let him pay me back until the TV actually came, just in case it was something wrong with the shipment or anything else. And $900 is a lot of money to just fork up or whatever. So when the TV finally came, he actually went to pick it up. I have the receipt for the TV also.
I don't care. I believe that you bought it.
So, so he picked the TV up, and after that, I asked for my money back, and he gave me like a runaround. And I told him, look, if...
So he gave you the runaround, but then he bought you a puppy. Is that what you want me to believe?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. JudgeJudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, he gave you the runaround, but then he bought you a puppy. Is that what you want me to believe?
I didn't ask for the puppy, though. He bought that on his own. One morning he woke up and said, I'm going to look at a puppy for you.
Great.
Right. I didn't know he was buying a puppy until the moment
so it's not something that you really wanted?
No, I do want it, but I didn't
buy one.
I didn't want to buy it myself.
Go buy one.
Okay.
Go buy one.
Okay.
Sell the television for $900 and go buy a puppy.
Okay. Well, he verbally said that the puppy...
Anything else we have to talk about?
Yes, I do.
Return of the television set. Listen to me, Mr. Cooper. Did you pay for the television set?
No.
No. She paid for the TV.
Yeah.
You paid for the puppy, right?
Yep.
Great.
It sounds real simple. Yeah.
Sounds simple. You know why it sounds simple? It is simple. And it's my ruling. She keeps the TV, you keep the puppy. We're done. Goodbye.
Parties are excused when they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Decision. I'm happy that Chloe's with me.
I love the dog to death like a daughter. And he loves her like property.
Of course, I'll let her see her, you know.
And he doesn't do anything for her.
It's nothing personal. It's just the proper ruling.
Yes, I love her way more than anybody.
She fell in love with the dog like I fell in love with the dog.
Well, I hope I can still be able to see her and
We'll get past it because I can't raise the dog alone. I'm a busy person.
Probably like a co-parent for a dog.
But I'm sure she'll see the dog.
Don't put your money towards anything until you have a written agreement that the dog is your property.
She'll get visitation rights.
Or a ring on my finger.
Now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Smith versus Jenkins. Step forward.
24-year-old McNora Smith is suing her ex-boyfriend, 21-year-old Christopher Jenkins, for unpaid rent, late fees, and lock-changing fees.
Ms. Smith, Mr. Jenkins was your boyfriend. Two of you signed the lease together for an apartment. You moved in together. Things did not go well. Mr. Jenkins left. You want him to be responsible for his half of the rent for the remainder of the lease. That's what the case is about.
Correct.
When did you move in?
We moved in February 20th, 2015.
On what date did he move out?
March 6th, 2015.
So within a few weeks?
Yes.
On what date did you change the locks?
April 20th, 2015.
When he moved out, had he paid his half of March's rent?
No.
Is that correct?
No, it's incorrect. I paid my half of February and March, and then I left. I don't know what exact date we got paid, but the first week of March I paid her $305, I think.
Now, when you changed the locks, Miss Smith, did you advise Mr. Jenkins that you were changing the locks?
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
I did not tell him.
How did you know she had changed the locks, Mr. Jenkins?
I didn't find out until I tried to come and get in the house to get some rest of my belongings after a couple months or whatever had passed, and I tried to use the key, but it didn't work. So I talked to her, and she was like, yeah, the locks got changed, so I just left.
I never told him I changed the locks.
But what you did was you lived there for a year, and now you decide, well, now I'm going to sue him for his half of the rent, right?
Yes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Whenever I would come home, he had been there, eating food, chilling, TV on, relaxing.
I mean, it's my house.
Just a second.
You moved out, so you have no business coming in and out.
Nora Smith says ex-boyfriend Christopher Jenkins owes for rent, late fees, and lock-changing fees.
Now, did you send him during the course of April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, or January a demand letter for rent?
No, we had discussed the first, when March rent was due, we had a conversation, and he kept saying he was going to pay his half. but obviously not. He never kept his word, whatever.
Well, whatever. He's not going to pay half your rent for the last year. Have you lived there for the last year?
Yes, I did.
Did you renew your lease?
No, I'm moving out because it's too expensive. I have 2 jobs to make up for it.
It's a mistake, but you changed the locks. You prevented
Yes,
him?
because he kept coming in and out. We work at the same job, and we work opposite shifts. So whenever I would come home, he had been there, eating food, chilling, TV on, relaxing.
I mean, it's my house.
Just a second.
You moved out. So
Well-
you have no business coming in and out.
Well, if you change
You don't
the
pay no
locks,
bills.
If you change the locks, he can't come in.
So that's why I changed the locks. After I noticed he was doing all that, and I have a text message that we talked about it. I told him
Okay.
that's not cool to do that. You don't pay nothing. You got your stuff. You moved out.
What I'm telling you is you can't lock him out, wait a year, and then sue him for half the rent. That's what I'm telling you. You had no right to lock him out of the apartment. Now, between the two of you and the landlord, he's on the hook for rent, but you lived there for the last year, and you paid rent, and you had the enjoyment of living there, and he did not. And he did not because you locked him out.
He chose to move out and chose not to pay the rent.
Well, but the reason you say
But
you
he still could come in.
He says he paid March's rent. You changed the locks in April, and you changed the locks because you say he worked different shifts, and he was coming in and out of the house.
He didn't start coming in like right after he moved out. He waited a while and then started to come in.
Ms. Smith.
Yes, ma'am.
You have no case. You changed the locks. That means you excluded him from his property. Now, you have several choices. If you have a joint lease and he's coming in and out of his house and you're no longer a couple, which you don't seem unhappy with, that you're no longer a couple together, you have a choice. You can move out, and if the landlord doesn't rent the apartment, we'll go against both of you for the balance of the rent. As between the landlord and Mr. Jenkins, he owes the rent, but he doesn't owe the rent to you because you locked him out. It would be the same thing if the landlord locked him out. He says, I have a lease, and the landlord said, I don't care, I'm locking you out, but I want my rent. Would that sound ridiculous?
Yeah.
Well, that's
But he still can get a copy of the key if he would have went to the leasing
Shoulda,
office.
woulda, coulda.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Now, you can also, if you are locked out of your home, you can also get a locksmith to break the lock. But he shouldn't have to go anywhere to get a key to his home. So what you did was you decided to stay in the apartment, which you did, and you stayed there
Didn't
and
wanna
enjoyed
ruin
it
my
for a
credit.
year. You didn't necessarily have to ruin either of your credits. You can go to the landlord and say, we want out of the lease.
And it would have been thousands of dollars, according to my lease, that I didn't have, nor did he have.
Well, but right now you're suing him for almost $4,000.
Half of the rent for late fees and lock changes.
You have no case. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Used to come to the job, you know, arguing and everything.
When I leave my house, I turn everything off. I come back, everything is on.
It just got fed up with it, and she was just like, you gotta move. I'm like, all right, goodbye.
I wasn't there. Like, really? You got a key and I got a key.
I just don't feel that it was right for me to pay when you kicked me out. You know, you didn't want me there and everything. And
I mean, I'm very frustrated. You didn't buy nothing. You didn't pay for nothing. I had to pay for it.
the allegations of coming to the house and eating food, I mean, it wasn't even anything there when we were staying together, so I don't see where the food come from.
It could have been different. We didn't even have to do all this, but, you know, he didn't want to own up to it, so.
Man, I'm going back to work, finish doing what I do, live my life, and hopefully she can do the same.
I won't do it again.
Bias for loss of income and the cost of a wolf dog.
Mr. Verbrick, what do you do for a living?
I'm an auto mechanic.
Who do you live with?
Myself.
When did you get into breeding and selling wolf dogs?
Approximately 8 years ago.
Why?
I found the animals fascinating.
Why would any normal person want to own with 219 breeds or more in this country, in the world of dogs? Why would you take a dog that is in part, and you don't know what part, wild wolf?
Howard Verbrick claims his former customer.
The defendants purchased one of your puppies several years ago.
One, yes.
And a couple of years later, according to you, they were looking for a second dog.
Yes.
Did they contact you?
Yes.
By phone?
Through messaging.
Which you have?
Yes.
Okay. And I will take a look at it at an appropriate time. That they were looking for, I think they were looking for a male. They had a female.
Correct.
And you were prepared to accommodate that. Did you give them the price for the dog?
Yes.
What was that?
At the time of And
How much had they paid for the first dog?
$500.
Okay.
The reasoning being they helped me sell some.
No, just years before, they had paid $500. You were asking $800 for this male.
It was $800 back then also. Under the circumstances, if they helped me sell animals, then I would give them a deal.
Did they do that for you the first time that
Yes,
they?
ma'am.
So the first time that they bought a puppy from you, they paid $500 and assisted you in finding owners for other puppies.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Second time, you asked for $800.
Yes,
And then did you make the same deal with them?
I did.
How many puppies did you have?
At the time, I had 6.
Did they come over and see the puppy?
Pictures only and updated photographs.
On what date did you go and pick up your puppy?
He dropped the puppy off to us on, I think it was March 22nd.
How far does he live from you?
About 40 miles, 30
So
miles.
you could have easily gone to see the litter.
Yes, correct.
So you chose for him to drop the puppy off.
Well, he kind of messaged us, and we had a phone conversation where he stated that he couldn't feed the puppies anymore.
No, that's not what I'm asking you. I know you have a script that you want to tell me about because you have something in your head, but that's not what I asked you. What I asked you, that was my question. He delivered to you a male puppy. How old was the puppy you delivered to them?
Approximately 9.5 weeks.
I don't know if that's an appropriate time for wolf dog puppies, but 10 weeks is a reasonable time to separate puppies from the litter and their mother. I know that that's not what I went to law school for, but you require a certain amount of nonsense information over the course of a lifetime. Anyway, did they pay you for that dog?
No.
What was the arrangement?
According to Angela, I got 3 different amounts. She was going to give me a $100 deposit and $100 a week, a $150 deposit, then $100 a week, and a $200 deposit and $100 a week. I got nothing.
At what purchase price?
She was thinking the $500 when I was asking the $800.
That's not what I said. Did you ultimately make an arrangement with her for $500 if she helped you help find other potential prospects for the other puppies?
Correct.
So purchase price was $500, and they did find you other people for the puppies.
1, yes.
Well, they found one. It wasn't specified. They found one. And did you place that puppy?
Yes.
This is what your lawsuit is about. You say that she didn't pay you any money, and the people who you placed the other dog with did not finish paying you.
Correct.
Well, they're not responsible for that person. They're not responsible for that person unless you gave them the dog in order to claim they owe you for the dog.
Oh, plus potential loss of income.
Oh, no, yeah. Be ridiculous. Okay, $500. Let me hear your excuse.
I think that the dog has been abused, and I have video proving.
And?
The male won't ever come around.
Just a second. And?
The male does not like males. What he'll do is he will cower at the sight of any male. He's very aggressive when he goes to take food from you.
He was 10.5 weeks old.
We've had him for 8 months now, and we still can't touch him.
But you got him, and he was 9.5 weeks old.
And he's still the same.
You got him when he was 9.5 weeks old. So that's not a reason not to pay for him. You still have him.
He needs proper care, and we don't feel like we should pay anything.
No.
Not with what we have to deal with the dog emotionally and everything else.
Well, unfortunately, the law does not agree with you. You agreed to him for a dog that had a nice disposition. Just pay careful attention. If you want a dog that guarantees you practically a nice disposition, buy a golden doodle, not a wolf. Buy a golden doodle.
Gotcha.
Buy a Shih Tzu. You want a big dog? What's another big dog?
Golden Retriever.
Buy a golden retriever. But if you people are odd enough to think that wolf dogs make good pets, not knowing, because I did a little, 119 breeds or more in this country, in the world of dogs, why would you take a dog that is in part, and you don't know what part, wild wolf? Why would you do that? If your animal is aggressive, go look at its history. Because sometimes they'll grow up to be friendly, nice dogs, like the first one you had.
First one I have is very well with our kids.
You know, this one, I'm going back to my wolf roots. Well, so it's judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $500. Your counterclaim's dismissed. We're done. Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
We more or less rescued this dog.
The dog had no issues before.
He cowers down to any sight of a male.
That's just a totally false statement.
It's to the point where he's got to get a trainer.
I hope that it is taken care of, and if they don't want the animal, I'd be glad to.
Into the history of a dog, a wolf dog. And if you read about it,
I did a little before the case.
Yeah. And it said that a wolf dog is a mix between a wild dog and a domesticated dog. And they list the names of the kinds of dogs that they have been bred with over the course of the years. But in that kind of situation, you don't know how much wolf you're getting.
It's a risk.
You could be getting 8% wolf. You could be getting 50% wolf. You really don't know. I think that there are some jurisdictions where they don't allow them to be sold as domesticated pets.
I think there are.
Order, all rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case number 2043, Pelletier versus Allen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This young lady is a friend of yours.
A former friend, correct.
How friend?
I met her from another mutual friend that I had, and we just formed a relationship together, just a friendship.
Are you married?
I'm not, I'm single.
Any kids?
No.
And what about the defendant?
She does have 2 kids, and she is married.
Currently?
Yes, currently married.
Are you also friendly with her husband?
Yeah, just friends. We were, yeah, before all this took place.
So that all of you were friends?
Yes, at one point, yes.
Case is relatively simple. Miss Allen's washer and dryer stopped working.
Correct.
You had done some odds and ends things for her in the past.
Yes, worked on her car and stuff.
And did you find or did she find the used washer and dryer?
She asked me for recommendations, and she found it on the selling app for used items.
So you told her where she might look for it?
Correct.
And she found it on an app online?
Correct.
Okay.
No,
Now-
actually.
Look at me.
Okay. He made the recommendation to me.
Did you go on the app yourself?
No, I did not.
So you never saw the washer and dryer?
Well,
Is that what you're... Just a second. So what you're saying, I just want to be clear. So I said, if you didn't go on the site, then you never saw the washer and dryer.
May I speak now?
Either you did go on the site and see it, or I didn't go on the site. I didn't see it.
He sent the picture of them to me, just a screenshot. That's all I got.
Okay. How old are you?
32.
You have 2 children?
Yes.
Did the screenshot show you where they came from?
I have a photo of them, and it doesn't say anything.
So is what you're telling me you didn't know where they came from?
Well, there is a name of the site. Would you like to know that?
You are correct, and I don't know. You said you needed a washer and dryer. You say he found the washer and dryer on a site, sent a photo to you and said, is this what you're looking for?
Correct.
Right? And on that screenshot was the site.
Right.
So you had at least access to the same site that he did.
That's correct.
And did the site give you the name of the person or persons to contact with regard to the washer dryer?
There was no one's name. No one's name, just a phone number.
Did you call a phone number?
I didn't call them.
Who called them?
Mr. Pelletier.
Now, Mr. Pelletier didn't call them unless you said they looked fine.
Well, I did say they looked fine.
Well, what else did you say?
Based on the picture, they looked...
Just a second. Just answer my question.
Okay.
Because what happened here is really relatively simple.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know whether you're a simple person, but it's relatively simple. You had a friend. You told him I needed a washer and dryer. Mine broke down. He said, this is a great site. According to you, I'll look up, and he looked up the washer and dryer, and you did nothing. You, who needed the washer and dryer, you must work very hard. How many jobs do you have?
I have a couple of jobs. My children are a big job, for one. And 2, I'm a full-time university student, so I am busy.
So you should be able to get a washer and dryer by yourself. You farmed that job out to him.
I did because he volunteered to help.
Doesn't matter. He didn't volunteer to help unless you told him I need help. I mean, is what it is. Are you using him? I'm not sure.
I wouldn't.
I'm not sure. What do you do for him?
I expect him to be gone that long either. It was over a week, and I had to buy the cat's food.
So, just a second. So you watched his cats?
Yes.
And is what you believed that him taking care of getting this washing machine payment for taking care of the cats?
Well, not just that. There's other things that happened while he was installing the washer and dryer.
I don't care about things that... What I'm asking you is I'm trying to figure out what kind of person says to a friend, I need a washer and dryer. He says, as a friend, I'll see if I can help you. You have time. You also go on the computer and figure it out. Being a full-time student is nice. That's what you chose. Somehow, you also support yourself and your 2 children. I don't even want to go into how that's done. However, you said, go get the washer and dryer. And he went, how long? How
It's
far?
50 miles from my house, an hour and 45 minutes.
Each way to pick up the washer and dryer that you authorized him to get. You said, go get it. It was $1,800.
Correct. And she offered $200 tip for the delivery of that.
For you?
Correct. And I have texts of
That's
that.
reasonable because you spent 3.5 hours in the car. Now, do they live on the first floor?
The third floor.
Third floor. Is it a walk up?
Yeah, it's stairway up to the third floor.
So somebody had to go up and take the old washer dryer out. So, Miss Allen, was that you or your husband?
Mr. Pelletier also removes them.
No, you can move your mouth. It's okay if you move.
No,
it's okay if you move your mouth.
I feel like I was being very kind because I didn't decide to sue him for his cat or the damages he did to the couch.
I'm telling you,
cats.
I don't know what your excuse is.
I feel like
I don't care what you feel like. I don't care what you feel like.
And later today.
When we went to transfer the title over together at the DMV, I had to pay off whatever tolls that I had. So between
out.
Hunter Pelletier claims his former friend, Alexandria Allen, is responsible for the cost of a washer and dryer.
The plaintiff walked up the 3 flights of steps, carried each of the washer and dryers downstairs, took the washer and dryers from downstairs up the 3 flights, got them installed, and you didn't like them. They were a different color.
And they're busted up. They don't even work properly.
Okay. Miss Allen, when did this happen? In what month?
January 7th of 2022.
You have receipts for different washers and dryers that you purchased since January of 2022?
I do not have the receipts, no.
That means that you didn't purchase them.
Well, I never paid him for them.
No. That means that you never purchased new ones. That means that you're still using the ones he bought.
Correct. But
right.
They do not work well.
Just you bought used washer and dryer. You've been using them January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, 8 months, and you're still using them. And you neither paid for them, nor did you pay him for delivery. And I don't know what your excuse is.
I feel like
I don't care what you feel like. I don't care what you feel like. You made a contract with him to go and pick up washers and dryers, disconnect yours, take them out of your house, install these.
For his cat or the damages he did to the couch.
I'm telling you, you should stay in school. How much did you pay for the washer and dryer?
$1,800, and I took the money out of the bank. She had asked me because her ATM has a low limit, so I went into the branch of my own bank.
That's what you're suing for $1,800?
Yeah, I wanted to get the $200 if possible, but at this point, I just want the money for the machines.
Judgment for the plaintiff. We're finished. $1,800.
Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
It damaged the walls of my apartment. They banged it up.
She saw right through everything, the damages, she said.
The machines were overpriced.
None of that happened from me. I'm not a professional installer.
I don't think he cared because it wasn't his money.
At the time, they were less than 6 months old from original purchase date, so they were still worth the money that they were asking.
I don't know. I don't think we're going to be friends anymore.
I don't need friends like that, no.
So this case touched a little upon agency, like an agent-principal relationship, where here the plaintiff was actively acting as her agent by going and picking up these washing machines for her. They had had communications beforehand about this is what they look like, this is what they cost, I'll do it for you for $200. Is this what you want to do? She says yes. You don't get to just then back out of it because you don't like the color. You knew what they looked like. You knew they were used. There was no bait and switch. I was almost waiting for an explanation, for a bait and switch, he put the nice ones in his house and then gave me not so nice ones. But there was nothing. There was very rarely do we see no excuse for.
And she's using them.
Yeah, still for almost a year.
They're all banged up. They were all banged up. Well, that's what happens when you buy something that's used. Mm-hmm. When you buy something over the internet, which is really what she did, she could have just as easily said to him, before you load them in the truck, please take pictures of them so that I see them.
Yes, she could have.
So she could have. Did nothing.
That's not his fault.
It's not his fault.
Yeah.
Also allowed him to take the other stuff down, put the other stuff up, and then say, well.
Alvarez versus Coover. All parties, please step forward.
Avery and Alvarez is suing his former friend, Brianna Coover, for toll charges.
Mr. Alvarez, this is not a very difficult case. It's a question of dates. You bought a new car.
Yes, ma'am.
You knew the defendant somehow through her boyfriend or?
He's my cousin.
Okay, so you purchased a new car. You had an older car that you were still paying off. And Miss Culver needed a car, and you made an arrangement with her where she would take over the monthly payments on your old car so that you would just be paying your new car. And when she finished making the payments on the car would be hers.
That's correct.
You did, in fact, conclude that agreement, and Miss Coover did, in fact, pay off the car.
Yes, ma'am.
She paid off the car. However, she did not register the car in her name.
That's correct.
And you had your plates on the car, and it is your claim that while the car was in her possession, she racked up $600 and some odd in toll fees.
Yes, Your Honor.
Which is what you're suing for.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Culver said that didn't happen. She had her own Easy Pass, toll pass, whatever it is. And there was no way that those tickets were incurred while she was in possession of the car. And additionally, she's got some very sad stories. She paid off the car. She didn't register it for some reason. She didn't register it, which I don't have to get into. You took the car back because you were afraid that your plates were on the car, and you started to get these dunning notices for tickets. Then you had to give the car back because we had given her the title to the car when she finished paying off the car, despite the fact she hadn't registered it. And then you took the license plates back, which is a very smart thing to do, because then she couldn't use them to get through the tolls. And the car out, and the car was auctioned off, and now she has no car, and you have $600 worth of tickets in your name.
Yes, ma'am. You got it.
Is that it?
That is a version of the story, yes.
Well, I will let you tell me a different version.
Everything is true thus far. We did have the agreement where he wanted a new car, I needed a car.
No, I got that. I just want to know what I said that was incorrect. I just made it shorter.
Just to clarify, when we went to transfer the title over together at the DMV, I had to pay off whatever tolls that I had before they're able to transfer the title over. So that was done. So between that time and the time where he ended up taking the car back, I don't really know how there was $600 worth of tolls.
I don't know either. That's what I'm going to find out. But is there any part of the story that I just told that was inaccurate? He transferred over the car to you. You had possession of the car. He didn't.
Correct.
Other than you who drove the car. Come on, that's a question. And other than you who drove the car.
Nobody.
No. Who drove your car?
Avery and Alvarez claims his former friend, Brianna Coover, owes for toll charges. Brianna says she already paid for the toll charges.
He says that you had possession of the car. He got notification that there were tickets. You say that you didn't go through tolls. He said, I didn't have possession of the car. Is there anything that is incorrect about that? So it's just a question of dates. It's not a difficult case. It's a question of dates.
Correct.
Okay, so give me the date that you made this arrangement to pay off the car.
I don't know the exact date.
She took over the car payments starting July 2019.
And when was it paid off?
May 16th, 2021.
When it was paid off, did you sign the title over to her? And the lien holder
there said that she had to have a sheriff verify the VIN and the odometer before we could transfer it over. I guess it's a rule in the county. So at that moment, then yes, we signed it over to her so she could do it at her local DMV.
And that was on what date?
That was July 9th.
Now, between July of 2018 and July of 2021, did you ever drive that car?
No, ma'am.
When did you initially take the car back from her?
I took the car back September 11th of 2021.
And how long did you have the car when you took it back because of these tickets?
I texted her on September 15th and told her that she could go pick the car up because I had found out that I
couldn't do that.
Exactly.
It was self-help for that.
Correct.
Okay, so you had the car between September 11th and September 15th.
Yes, ma'am.
Other than that period of time, did you ever drive the car from July 18th until the present time?
No, ma'am.
So if there were any tickets that were accrued, it was either by the defendant or somebody who drove the car with defendant's permission.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to see the dates of the tickets. Ms. Coover, you don't question the fact that between July 2018 and today's date, with the exception of between September 11th and the 15th of 2021, he did not have possession of the car.
Correct. The only reason that when we transferred the title over, we had an agreement.
Just a second. That's all I asked you. This is not a conversation. I just want to know who got the ticket. They belong to him. Any other tickets from 2018 July until infinity are yours. Well, we have invoice date is 7/28/21. That would be you.
Correct.
June 30th, 2021. 7/1/2021, 7/2/2021, again 7/2, 7/3, 7/6, 7/6, 7/7, 7/8, 7/8, 7/22, and 7/28 of 2021. Those are all you.
Correct.
August 28th, 2021. That would be you.
Yes.
3/3/6/9/19/28 of 2021. August. That all would be you.
Yes. I never argued that that wasn't me. I'm just, from the moment that we officially transferred the title over, we were not able to transfer the title over until I paid.
Oh, just show, you paid these?
And we were together.
Now, just a second. Show me that you paid them.
I have this receipt.
Just show me that you paid them. That's it.
And that would have been what was due at the time when we transferred the title over.
I'm just going by the dates of the tickets, madam. I don't care how the government screws up. That's not my problem. Okay, show me your payment. May I see it, please?
It should say the date there and the cost of those tolls on the day.
This is your SunPass. You replenished your SunPass.
That's a payment to SunPass. His house and took the car. There was no way that I racked up $600 in tolls.
I don't know whether you did or didn't. Then take that up with Department of Motor Vehicles. That's what they say you racked up between that period of time. He didn't have possession of the car. You had possession of the car from the time he transferred over the car to you. You had possession of the car. He didn't.
Correct.
Well, other than you, who drove the car? Come on, that's a question. And other than you, who drove the car?
Nobody.
No. He never drove your car?
No.
Who drove your car?
I did.
Who else?
Nobody.
Yeah, I don't believe that. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $654. We're finished here. Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
Quick and simple case. She did what she needed to do.
I can't really say I'm super surprised, I guess.
I was just asking for payment on the tolls and I wasn't getting any responses.
I don't know how in literally 3 months I didn't rack up $600 in tolls.
It is what it is.
He was okay with me continuing to use his
Take my license plate with me.
license plate until one day he wasn't, and then he wanted all that money.
So, what would be your takeaway from that?
I think as a layperson, my takeaway would be if you're going to sell a car, especially to someone you don't know well, it's not a family member, it's, either a stranger or acquaintance, take your own plates off the car. Get a receipt, bring it to DMV, because your name, your address, your phone number will be tied to tickets, SunPass charges, and even maybe an accident. You just don't want your name associated with the vehicle anymore once you relinquish your ownership.
Xin chào mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã đến với series tô màu tranh cùng với mình nhé. Hôm nay thì mình có bức tranh về một bạn cua nha. Đây là một bạn cua đang ở trên bãi biển. Các bạn hãy cùng mình bắt tay vào và tô màu ngay bây giờ cùng với mình nha. Đầu tiên thì cùng mình tô màu cho đám mây nhé. Giờ thì tô đến bạn chim. Hai bạn chim nha. đang ở trên cát này có mấy cái viên đá nên là mình sẽ tô trước nhá. Đây có một lá cờ nữa. Mình sẽ tô màu cho bạn bướm bướm. Bây giờ thì cùng mình tô màu cho cây dừa. Tiếp theo thì mình sẽ tô màu ở chiếc ô.